I am tired of this drought. You better make it rain. Ooh, careful. You get what you asked for.
That's what I'm talking about. This is what we've had for about 3 days now.
Here we go. This is day number 6. Every evening, pouring rain. I got coming. Look at that. What are you doing, Duck? Well, I had a whole bunch of plans. They fell through. Everything I've touched this week has basically gone to hell. Dude, nothing has worked out right. We were in a 7-week drought. And then, boom, the past 6 days or 7 days, every afternoon or every night, we have had torrential downpours. One night we had terrible lightning. John and Jeff were going to come, and it started raining this morning. So I'm out here by myself, and I've got to get seed down on these fields. Now, I've got clover and grasses in here, but I need my turnip. I'm going to put down some chicory, and I'm going to put down some radish. I can do that in the summertime here because I have irrigation. But we have had close to 11 inches of rain over the past 6 days. These fields are super, super saturated. Matter of fact, I'm driving through muddy puddles up in here, and it's the perfect time to seed. So I put out more grass seed down in those areas over there. I got tons of Bermuda coming up. Especially as I drive over this, my tires are actually forcing some of this seed in here. But here's the long story short. Tomorrow, I'm going to come out here and cut this. And I'm waiting for that window of 1 day of sunshine, and I'm going to come and I'm going to spray the grasses. These 2 fields up here are infested with Bermuda grass, and you don't want that in your food plots. So there's only one product I know of that'll do it, and that's Grass Out Max. Fusilade will kill grasses in Bermuda, but it'll also kill things like clover too. So Grass Out Max won't kill broadleaf. It's safe on clover, it's safe on turnips, it's safe on chicory, it's safe on all that. And you spray it out here, and within 7 to 10 days, this Bermuda and all these grasses that are in here, look at this. See what I'm talking about? That's all Bermuda grass. And it's just all gonna take over if I don't jump on this. We had to deal with this when we first bought the property, and we actually glyphoed the whole thing, killed it all off, then planted, but I don't wanna do that because these deer are in here by the hundreds at night. I mean hundreds in here eating it. Ooh, all right, so I started to do a hand spreader, and I said, dude, I thought John and Jeff were going to be here to help me, so I said, heck with this. So I have my automatic feeder on, but I had to modify it. This seed is so tiny. I got some clouds, that's why I got a trash bag over it. The lid really doesn't fit that well, by the way. So what I've done is I've actually taken some Gorilla Tape, and I've covered over 3/4 of the hole here, and that gives me a nice slow feed rate. So anyways, I've already done purple top turnip. I put out 25 pounds on these 3 fields. I think I'm going to do chicory next, and then I'm going to do what else have I got? And I'm going to do the Daikon radish seed. All right, at least I'm not walking, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't walk all these fields with 4 different types of seeds. I was just like, No way. But then tomorrow we'll cut. And I'm waiting for this max out grass. This grass out max. It needs about 6 hours of sunshine to be rain fast. And so that's the window I'm looking for. If you're not familiar with this, I can turn it on and off. Sorry, I can turn it on and off from the cab and open it up. So I'll keep it on the lowest setting, and I'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully that'll work well. But I'm going to test it with some purple top turnip seed, and let me show you what I'm talking about. It would go out way too heavy. I'd have to be screaming 30 miles an hour all over this place. See it? Look how fine that is. It's tiny. Okay, so the chicory seed is just a little bit bigger than the turnip. It's got some bigger pieces in here. Clover seed is tiny. Purple top turnip is real tiny. It's my watch going off. The chicory is a little bit larger, and the daikon radish is actually even larger. Now these are those radishes we had last year. We had a lot of them in the garden. They're big white ones, and they actually come up. David actually cooked the greens and the radish, and he loved them, man. They're actually they're not as sharp as a purple radish. Seeds always do best when they're slightly under soil. The way that you plant a seed is 2 to 3 times the size of the seed in depth. So if you have a 1/4 inch seed, like a pea, you would plant that 1/2 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch in the ground, because it only has so much energy to reach up. So when you're planting stuff like clover, which is tiny, purple top turnip, which is tiny, 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 you barely want it in the ground. So what happens is when you get this real heavy rainstorms, it sort of drives it into this muddy condition. Then you drive your UTV over it, and it sort of pushes it down in. So if you have some real heavy rains, man, right before it or even just after it is a great time to seed. So seeding today, cut tomorrow, and maybe even spray tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what the weather looks like. We're out here doing some mudding. What's mudding? That's when you drive through the mud. Good Lord, man. Look at this thing. It's the DR Power Pro 44T all mudded up. It's all mudded up. So this is the one thing you can do when you have an oversaturated soil. I came out here and used the electric spreader attachment and spread 3 types of seeds. Then came out here and cut all this grass and crap down, and now you can see I've got a nice muddy mash out here. Now that is the perfect recipe for good food plot establishment. That seed is, you know, a quarter of an inch down under the ground. It's perfect. I got 2 days where the rain chances are basically going away, Saturday and Sunday. So anyways, I may even get some clover, more clover seed, and come out here and do this in clover. This didn't have a good clover establishment, but all three of these fields actually look real great. This is the one that really gets muddy. It's bad. Time to go give this baby a bath. It's one rule I have. Every time you use a piece of equipment, you wash it, and this one needs a big scrubbing. All right, so I've got seed all in here. I've cut everything down to about 3 inches. You can see the clover is still here, well established. But now this seed has a chance to come up and reach the sunlight. But man, I'll tell you what, look at that. Look at what rain does. That's awesome. That is just awesome. End of July, people. End of July. Beautiful green clover field. Look what I got coming. Look at that. What is that, Doc? You'll find out soon. So here's a surprise for you that you weren't expecting. We have an Axis that we bought at Lowe's before inflation hit for $8,000. And I told Ryan, he was like, man, why don't you get a nice John Deere or Polaris? I said, dude, we're going to beat the living hell out of this thing. So I want to buy something cheap that I can use for a couple years and then either just sell it or get rid of it. That Axis is on its last leg, I'll tell you right now. And I'm to the point I'm afraid to actually work the fields with it. And it's just, I'm having to use my expensive John Deere gator to now do all the fields, which I don't want to do. I don't want to put that kind of wear and tear. That's mainly for like hunting and for farm, riding around the farm. I don't want to be beating it up in the fields. So this is the new Bighorn. This is from Tractor Supply. I didn't even go to Tractor Supply. I know they had one in stock. I looked for it in stock on their website, added to my cart. It's $8,900. I said, deliver it, $79 delivery fee. They delivered it for $79. I ordered it yesterday afternoon. It's here this morning. That's pretty cool, dude. There's your lift gate, and everything is a lot more accessible and easier to work with than it is on the Axis. The Axis is horrible for working on. You got to take apart the center console. You got to take apart the center console, pull the seats out, take apart the center console just to change the air filter, and it's a nightmare. 2 messages. Your Tractor Supply order was just delivered. So I'm excited about this. I'm going to test this out. I'll do a review on it for you guys, but hey, maybe I'll try and find a link to it. You can order it online. They'll ship it to you online, or if they have it in stock at the store. Nice big bed. Nice big open holes for drainage, which is what I like to see. Good snaps. They do have, this is interesting, they do have a headrest. You know, I may have to take these off with my big hats that I wear. That actually may not work. Oh yeah, man. It is so nice. Even though I'm having to deal with water issues and drainage issues, it is so nice to walk out here and see this at the end of July. A lush, thick clover field. There's a myth out there when you say that term that clover adds nitrogen to the soil, and that's not what it does. You'll hear a lot of people say that. There's actually white little nodules on the roots, and those nodules contain a bacteria. And when that bacteria, when those nodules die off, it releases that bacteria, and it converts the nitrogen in the soil to a usable form for the other plants. So it doesn't necessarily add nitrogen, it's nitrogen fixing, which means that it converts it into a usable form. Make sense? A lot of people ask why we put so much energy into this in the off season. Oh, your deer, those bucks are going to be gone during hunting season. We don't care about the bucks. That's not our focus. Our focus is the does. We don't harvest any does on our property. We have a 40-acre property. If you have a 5-acre to 100-acre property, and someone tells you that you need to manage your buck to doe ratio, you need to just walk away and don't listen to them. If you have a 2,000 and 5,000 acre hunting preserve, then obviously you do. But here's the thing, the bucks around here, my does are pretty much residential. I have a lot of does that live here. I can tell some of them have scars and whatever. The bucks are not. The bucks are transitional. So come the rut, I've got bucks coming from miles around all the time to check on my does. So you manage your doe population. If you have a real heavy doe population, you're going to have varying estrus cycles all during the rut. I mean, some of your does won't get bred, and so they'll come 28 days or so, they'll come back in estrus cycle. And that's what happens here. Because we take care of all of our does and all the baby deer here. As an example, the big buck that I shot up here, the crazy kind of mule deer looking whitetail, I was in that stand and he came 185 yards up in that corner field. I hunted him for 2 weeks. The only reason he came out is because there was thunderstorms the night before, but my neighbor across the street has him on camera like 5 different times, way over, almost half a mile or mile away down over here. So that's the whole point of this, is that I will see a buck and may see him a couple times, and he'll be here for a week or two, and then he moves on. I will have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bucks come through this property. The does are here all the time. I've got pictures of 30 does in here, 8 of them bedded down. Take care of your does. My property can handle basically an unlimited amount of deer with what we do, with what we plant up here, with all the water sources we've got up here. So we don't have to worry about an overpopulation, and we do not focus on a buck to doe ratio. 40 acres is way too small to be trying to take down your doe population. Don't do it. Okay, here's a good little tip for you. So if you have any shooting lanes or paths or stands, this is the stand we call the redneck skyscraper. The base of the stand is 16 feet off the ground, and this goes downhill. And man, we cut a shooting lane that you can see almost 200 yards down here. We clear it up later in the season. But we have a feed station here, and it gets all muddy. Great place for clover. These paths, great place for clover. Now, will the clover thrive in here? No. But I'm walking down this path here, and I want to show you something real quick. So this is clover from last year that I planted, starting to come back up. See that over there? When it becomes cold in the fall, we'll put out some winter rye, and the winter rye will actually turn this whole thing green and stay green. It's really cool looking. So that's what we do. We'll put down clover right now on these areas, and then when November comes, I'll actually get some winter rye and throw some annual or winter rye down here. Really works out well. But unfortunately, that deep feeder down there, I have raccoons attacking it, crawling up the legs. So let's get a set. All right, everybody calm down. Move. I'm gonna step on your feet. Move. Move. Hold on. Calm down. Here. Man, they love cucumbers. They're pigs, man. Hold on. Here. Calm down. Calm down. So here we go again. It is 11:49, it's 12 o'clock. It's been sunny all morning. Now it's starting to rain again. This is what's happening every single day. Hopefully this isn't a downpour. I actually got plugged in my fountain. Someone was asking about my fountain. It got all clogged up a couple months ago, so I just shut it off. I plugged it in and bam, it blew out everything. So now I got my fountain working. One thing I want you to concentrate on is, I know you're thinking about, if you're watching this video and you're a deer hunter or a game manager or whatever, you're thinking about the deer, but what I want you to really concentrate on is your soil. And that's what you're doing. Roots in the ground at all times, 365 days a year. Do not have any time of the year where your soil is bare. We avoid tilling, we avoid plowing, we don't do any of that. We basically no-till as much as we can, but if you're gonna put one thing down, put down clover. That's what I'm gonna say to you now, especially now. It can take some drought, it can take temperatures down in the teens, but it is absolutely essential to get those roots in the ground. So anyways, guys, I don't think I'm going to stand out here much longer in the rain. Hit subscribe, and I don't know, maybe I'll try and fish once this rain stops again. Duck.